Today's show brought to you in part by GoToMeeting. For a free 30-day trial, use code podcast at gotomeeting.com.
Don't get angry at an auction, or you may end up owning an RV.
Hey everyone, welcome to Consumer RV News. I'm Courtney Wallen. Andy, you know, that doesn't necessarily sound like a bad thing to own an RV.
Well, you know, everybody has a story, and this story is a fellow by the name of Clarence Doc Jones, who bought his first RV 15 years ago, and he bought it because he was angry. It seems that he was in a salvage business in Middlesex County in Virginia, and he ended up buying his first RV at a salvage auction because he had won several bids, and a friendly competitor came up to him and said, gee, I thought you'd be out of money by now. And he got angry, and the next two items that came up, one was a Lexus and the other was an RV, and he bought both of them.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how he got into RVing. And he took it home, cleaned it up, and replaced the air conditioner, and told his wife that next vacation they were going camping. That was 15 years ago. That was also the beginning of the Virginia Camping Cardinals, which now has 120 members. Their most recent rally was the American Heritage Campground in James City, Virginia. It is the largest club that is attracting minority families, largest of its kind on the East Coast, primarily minority families that are involved. And you know, that is one of the trends that we're seeing, is that particularly African Americans are discovering the world of RVs. And Rue Mapp we were talking with on, or will be talking with here shortly, coming up next week, and we'll have to ask her about these folks here. The news today is coming, of course, courtesy of RVBusiness.com, which is the focus of industry news. But from time to time, there are things of interest to consumers. One of the most novel stories that came up this week, it talked about the Chinese, where the Chinese love the RV lifestyle in spite of the challenges that might occur. A fellow by the name of Wang Zudong loves camping so much that he named his twins kind of the Chinese equivalent of Cam and Ping, camping. And of course there it's called caravanning. He is at Beijing's largest RV park. He's enjoying some vacation time at a rented Chinese-made motorhome. And he was talking about some of the things that are happening in China in this very embryonic RV culture and some of the joys of life on the open road. He talks about, you hear about these incredible traffic jams that occur in China, but the hardcore RV enthusiasts will brave those just for the opportunity to wake up the next day and breathe some fresh air in an RV park. In fact, he talked about one of the times he most recently went to the Nanshan RV park, got in there at 10 o'clock at night. Even though it was pouring down rain, he decided it was time he was going to have a cookout and barbecue his supper. It sounds like Courtney and some of her camping adventures. On paper, China has about 100 RV parks, but it's certainly not a kingdom of RV enthusiasts. Some RV pioneers need to have a unit that has, you might say, Chinese characteristics. Generator, a tank that can hold 3 or 4 days worth of water. A shovel to bury several days worth of sewage because there is an absence of U.S.-style dump points. And then one of the other things is, from a cultural standpoint, the RV needs to have a place for grandma. The middle class in China travel with their grandparents in tow, and there are 30 to 40 RV manufacturers in China that cater to that, with facilities for wheelchairs and so forth and so on. So this carting the elders around gives you a chance to meet your family obligations, and you know, when you have Confucius kind of as an ally, it helps to make caravanning a family event. There's only 5,000 RV owners in China, a long way from the 9 million, the number that's approaching 9 million here in the U.S. But they figure that RVs will catch on like BMWs in China. because it's a symbol of the new Chinese way of life that has nature, mobility, and most importantly, the right to stop and go at will. Of course, all this differs greatly from the riding a Chinese bicycle and the way that the country has run for years and years. The RV sales department, one of the largest RV makers called Great Wall Motors, notes that a lot of people in Europe and America have both time and money for RV travel. The super rich in China have the money, but they don't have the time. And so China's RV industry is actually being driven by small entrepreneurs, white-collar workers, and retired government officials. Of course, they're always going to have trouble, even on the toll roads. RVs are such a novelty that they can't quite figure out how much to charge for them to get through the toll booth. And even getting a license plate for an RV can be a real exercise as well. So that's what's happening in RV Consumer News.
Very good. Hey, well, when we were down at RVIA a couple years ago in Louisville, we saw an abundant amount of Chinese dealers and not manufacturers, dealers over, making
people
deals
watching and observing. Yes, and so it's not surprising, but kind of interesting the way that caravanning is developing in that part of the world.
Not surprising. It's fun. Not surprising, of course.
Indeed.
Hey, no show would be complete without our 30 seconds of shameless plugging, so here I go. Last time this week. Of course, you can find RVNN, Consumer RV News, and all the other great shows on our app. In the Boxee channel store, so be sure to subscribe to that. The RVNN Daily comes out every single Friday. Today happens to be Friday, so look for that. It's got great social media contributors. Of course, you can find RVNN on all the social media networks. Of course, we're on Google+. You can circle us. Pinterest, every single one of our shows has its own board. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. And last but not least, we're on the Roku. We're now in the travel section. Andy, you've got a little announcement about that.
We do indeed. In fact, there are 12 shows there, and we are still one of the shows that there's no charge to watch, and that we're advertising supported and so forth. And it turns out that we're one of the highest rated shows, and we have the most ratings, which is a really good thing. And if you have your Roku and you enjoy our programming, please stop by and give us a rating. It's a big help.
Absolutely. All right. Consumer RV News comes on every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's Friday, so we'll be back Monday, maybe. Right, Andy? Maybe. I guess
maybe. We'll
maybe.
see how Skype works out.
Yeah, exactly. If not, for sure, we'll be back on Wednesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Do you have a great product or RV accessory? Pull out that flip cam or smartphone and get ready for RV Travel Shop on RVNN TV. Make your own 5-minute infomercial and put it in front of thousands of people who've already said, "I love RVing," on a set-top box that's already in over 3 million homes. Maybe you have real pitchman talent. Maybe you just show people what you've got. On RV Travel Shop, people can view your product video at any time for 30 days on the Roku video player. That's the same player Netflix uses to put movies on your flat-screen TV, plus videos from major channels like Disney, Hulu, Pandora, NBC, and Fox, and Angry Birds. The same low-cost player that thousands more homeowners will add to their home this week. RV Travel Shop on RVNN TV is a flat-fee, month-to-month contract with no special codes, no order tracking, and no paperwork or commissions. Contact us now, 1-877-578-7866, or by email, rvtravelshop@rvnn.tv.